All right, about 25 minutes before the hour. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Drew Mariani. Great to be with you today. As always, I do appreciate it. We're taking a look at life through the eyes of our faith. And, you know, politics, I really believe, is that mechanism in which we can affect change. Sometimes people say, what are you talking about politics for? Because you know what, folks? Catholics as well as non-Catholics vote. And this is what will impact our future and the future of this great nation. Today, we have begun a series called Our Graceful Heritage. One of the brainchild behind this really is Dr. Grace Vuoto. She's the founder and the president of a great institute, the Edmund Burke Institute. They're a Washington-based think tank. And Doctor, this is such a great idea because I think there are so many parallels between what the early Christian community did to come up against great odds. I mean, everything from paganism to baby exposure to just all sorts of other philosophies, and yet somehow faithful to those Christian principles, life changed. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to follow up on a point I left off on before we took a break, and then we'll go and take a few phone calls as well. We're seeing a change in our country. We are seeing definitely more women entering and getting elected to positions of high office, whether it's Congress or Senate or governorships in this nation. And we talked a little bit about the fact that a lot of these women have evoked a pro-life, a small government, an individual responsibility, a pro-national security type of platform here. And I'm thinking, well, okay, if that's the only thing to it, then why aren't men who embrace that philosophy getting into office more frequently? Is there something about the female persona that is more trustworthy? What is it about these women who are running that are getting the votes? Why are they getting elected over perhaps, let's say, a man who holds the same position?
Oh, Drew, I would hesitate to endow women with necessarily more virtue than men. I would just say that I think the primary reason right now is that there's such a strong anti-incumbent mood out there, and that these women represent the fresh faces. And I also think that they are extremely passionate in what they're doing, right, because they are the outsiders, essentially. They're just working very, very, very hard to win every vote. And they are standing on principle. They are standing very steadfastly for what they believe, whereas some people that have been in politics, whether they're men and women, their record is much more checkered. They have a lot more compromises that they've made. I think that some of this might dissipate once women are in the field for 20 and 30 years, just like men. I think it's a new phenomenon. It's very exciting, especially to women who are watching other women go toe-to-toe with men.
I told my daughter she could be anything in the world that she wants to be. And you know what? I think we'll see a female president in the not-too-distant future. Let me ask you about that. Right now, who do you think are the brightest stars? Who do you think perhaps may have the best shot of maybe running for office? I know they threw Bachmann's name out there for the next round. Sarah Palin's name always comes up. I don't think she'll run for president. But your thoughts? Just that's subjective and completely personal, and who knows? But I'll throw you the softball.
Yes, indeed. In terms of the women out there, I'm the biggest fan of Michelle Bachmann. Of all the women out there, I think that she's really a very, very capable lady, and she's proven herself in the numerous areas. Some of the others, like Carly Fiorina, Meg Whitman, Nikki Haley, they're just getting their feet wet into politics, and I think they will shine brighter and brighter as the years go by. But I think that Michelle Bachmann there is a woman of incredible competence and also a very good record. Another really impressive person is Arizona Governor Jan Brewer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think she's really something. I think you're going to see individuals like her, who have a record, a very effective governing record, people that have gone against the establishment in a very dramatic way, who are going to make tremendous headlines in 2012. Mm-hmm. There's another individual, if we look at the men out there, I've got my eye on David Petraeus. I want to see what he's going to do, General Petraeus.
Wow. You think he's going to run?
He may very well do so. We'll see what happens. I mean, he has the highest national standing across the whole country.
Wow. That's amazing. I never even thought about him. What a great observation.
And especially if we slip into greater and greater international crisis, the nation might cry out for a general.
No doubt about it. All right, we'll go to the phones. I'll open the phones, take a few quick calls here. 877-ROAM-777. Let's go to the Twin Cities in Minnesota first. Pat, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, hello. thank you for taking my call. And can you hear me okay?
We can. Yep.
Okay, and this is a question, too, for the doctor who's quite knowledgeable in this area. We have someone in Minnesota, a woman, and you've talked about traditional values. I think this is someone that Michelle Bachmann has known and approved of. It's a Dr. Teresa Collette.
Oh, yeah.
She's a pro-life, traditional marriage, conservative, fiscally responsible professor. I mean, she's got ultimate qualifications, excellent crowd appeal. And my question is that she's decided to run for U.S. House from District 4 here in Minnesota against an incumbent woman. These are both women. But this woman, I believe, is possibly Catholic as well, but she's been in for 10 years, an incumbent, and very pro-choice, very Nancy Pelosi has voted with her 97% of the time. And wondering why the conservative woman seems to be getting the bad press. They don't like Palin and Bachmann. They seem to just attack them.
That's a great point. Pat, let me hold it right there because I'm going to let the doctor respond to you there. Again, Teresa Collette, running for the 4th Congressional District in Minnesota. I can't think of a Republican woman who's running, who's doing it for truly Catholic reasons, trying to advance the kingdom. This woman is embracing that particular ideology, and like so many others, she gets beat up in the media because of that. Your thoughts on that? Why is it that pro-choice, some of these more liberal politicians get all the good press, and Catholic politicians get beat up?
Well, I think it's very, very simple. If women and minorities renounce the liberal agenda, it is the end of the Democratic Party. It is as simple as that. It is the end of liberalism. In fact, that's why I founded the Edmund Burke Institute for American Renewal. The whole think tank is devoted to bringing women and minorities into the conservative movement. So when I see this rise of conservative female politicians, my heart leaps with joy because essentially women and minorities will be the future of conservatism. That's what the demographics are telling us. And so the liberals realize that. The Democrats realize that. And therefore, all of these conservative female politicians are extremely dangerous to their agenda and to their long-term future prospects. What I have created, the Edmund Burke Institute for American Renewal, if it succeeds, if we convince minorities and women to embrace conservatism, we will defeat the liberal agenda. And therefore, it's a fight to the death. The liberal media, they know that. They realize that. There's very, very smart people in positions of power. In fact, I was also in the news business, and I can tell you as a conservative woman, I was going up against my editors all the time. Even in a conservative news organization, there were liberal editors, and it was a daily battle. The people in power, the people in the media, they know what's at stake.
That's right.
And they know how dangerous it is when conservatives and minorities start to think, well, you know what, these democratic ideas, these liberal ideas, they don't necessarily work. That could spell their doom.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, Pat, thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. Doctor, let me take a quick break. When we come back, let's get into these parallels in the early church. We've been meaning to get there, and there are some great, great examples. We'll take a look at that as our series, Our Graceful Heritage, continues with Dr. Grace Vuoto. Stay with me, folks. We're back with more